do with 3 Steinway pianos?
I saw the pianos and I was like, I hate the piano. I can't play the piano. No one in my family can play the piano. What? Why are there all these pianos?
My rationale at the time was, gee, I'll have one, and I can give one to my daughter. And the other one I really didn't know what I was going to do with, but it really looked nice. They were $80,000 a piece, and I put them in storage. Make sense? No. But it did to me at the time.
Rosemary robó a sus patronos el dinero que necesitaba para alimentar su compulsión. Creó una compañía fantasma llamada Rat Consulting y comenzó a facturar a sus empleadores por servicios que estos nunca recibieron. Luego depositó los cheques en una cuenta secreta que abrió a su nombre. Al principio Rosemary facturaba sumas pequeñas, pero con el tiempo la cifra subió a $300,000 diarios.
I was very surprised that I got away with it, especially when the amounts started getting larger. And then it escalated and escalated and escalated, and then it was like every day I went into work, it was like, well, are they going to come and get me today?
Para el momento de su arresto, había gastado casi $4 millones y ahora está a la espera de un juicio. Se cree que 10% de los adultos son compradores compulsivos y muchos de ellos terminan en los tribunales, según revela el estudio del profesor Gorney.
They're people who in other circumstances would be law-abiding. And for me, that was just testimony to the strength of the compulsion, that they broke the law, something which was against their nature and basic character, because the compulsion was so strong.
Para su defensa, Rosemary alegará que no pudo evitarlo, que su obsesión se debe a una depresión postnatal que comenzó poco después de que dio a luz a su hija.
I think that kind of started it, and then it gradually built, and it kept building and building. And, you know, you have various setbacks during your lifetime, and the more setbacks, the more I'd buy.
She just started buying, and I mean, she just bought and bought and bought. I never saw the credit card statements or anything. I had no idea of, what we were talking about. I happened to find out about it. I mean, it was just phenomenal. I mean, I took 80-some credit cards off of her.
How many?
80-some.
Una vez que comenzó a comprar en exceso, Rosemary se dio cuenta de que no podía parar. Quizás las reacciones químicas que se producen en el cerebro de los hombres adictos a los deportes sean muy similares a las de los compradores compulsivos.
And that would usually happen too.
When I was younger, I kind of liked it because it was like Christmas. Every single day I went shopping. But as I got older, I didn't like it at all anymore. I hated going into the stores with her because it was embarrassing to stand in line while she had 3 carts full of just clothes and toys and Barbies. She treated me like I was a my-size Barbie. She'd take pictures and she'd change me, take another picture, change me, and take another picture. It was really horrible, and half of the pictures I'm crying because I didn't like it.
Rosemary también compraba grandes cantidades de mercancía por correo.
It was pretty well accepted that she had a problem, but people felt it was her problem and she needed to grow up or whatever. And like my grandma would constantly, she'd just chastise her about anything that she did wrong. She would just go after her. She would say that she bought too much, that she spent too much, that she spoiled me, that she was too fat, that she was ugly. Anything that my grandma could criticize, she would criticize.
And I'd probably buy the Loganberry. Why would you buy that? Just to eat. I like strange things to eat.
They say marijuana makes you relieve your problems. I think it's her form of that drug.
Oh, I'd get a high. You know, and I would go and get things. I like this, I like that, and I would be going all around the shop getting items. It's too bad that they didn't have a cart, because that's what I would have used. That silver up there is gorgeous. The urge was massive. oh, this is a shop that I could go crazy in. And it still is. Whisks. My daughter likes whisks. I have to struggle every day not to buy a lot.
Rosemary deberá cumplir una larga sentencia a menos que la corte acepte el alegato de que en realidad no pudo evitarlo.
The prosecutor is asking for 7 years. 7 years is a lot of years out of a person's life, and that's what I'm looking at. By the time I get out, I'll be 60. And that's a long ways from where I am now. I don't know how I'll get through it. It really is scary for me.
El juicio de Rosemary comenzará en un par de meses. La defensa espera poder beneficiarse de los estudios sobre obsesiones que se están llevando a cabo en Minnesota. Minnesota es un estado cuyos habitantes acuden a los centros comerciales y los casinos para escapar de la monotonía. Los investigadores han encontrado vínculos entre las compras y las apuestas compulsivas. Theodore Mueller fue un exitoso restaurador hasta que las apuestas tomaron las riendas de su vida.
I know when I'm driving the car all the way down there that I shouldn't be going, but I am, and I can't fight that. The minute I walk in the door, it's like a whole new world, like I just walked into a fantasy world. It's not daytime, it's not nighttime. You know, finally I'm home. It's like walking into Atlantis. I would imagine it would be like heaven would be. And it seems like I kind of lose focus of what's going on around me because then I'm totally engulfed in the whole casino experience. I would be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if I could. I have this relaxing feeling of, I'm finally in that escape, I guess.
Theodore puede pasar hasta 36 horas seguidas en un casino, perdiendo miles de dólares. Por ahora está desempleado y solo se encarga de cuidar a su sobrino Skylar. Al igual que Rosemary, también ha malversado para financiar su obsesión.
If I had to compare it to the people I love in my life, I'd have to say the casino. Just because there's no feedback. And I feel guilty for feeling that way. You got chips, you don't want none sandwich.
La Universidad de Minnesota, la cual ha estado estudiando a los apostadores como Theodore, cree conocer las causas de otras obsesiones.
It appears that people who have a difficulty with compulsive shopping, compulsive gambling, even people who go to sporting events compulsively, all have a similarity in brain circuitry.
El casino hace que los apostadores como Theodore segreguen neurotransmisores que estimulan las áreas que procesan el placer y los impulsos.